Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Nancy from nancybadillo.com and welcome to 20 reasons why you're not making a sale on Etsy. Now this topic might seem familiar. I just did a video a couple days ago and thanks to Mary W, she's one of my subscribers, she pointed out that the last video it cuts off and I've been having issues with my software, so I apologize guys. I'm redoing the video and this is the actual full video. So let's go ahead and get started. 20 reasons why you're not getting sales on Etsy. Reason number one, the most common reason that I see is your photos. The photo has to be storytelling, it has to be compelling, it has to have a nice sort of background, no distraction. You have to be able to crop that picture in a complimentary way that doesn't get cut off when people are viewing it on Etsy. It also has to showcase your product really well. If I look at it, I should know within seconds that that's a set of earrings. I shouldn't be looking at it and trying to figure out are those earrings or is that something else. Also, you have to make sure that you are selling for two audience. The person is actually looking for your product, that when they see it, they click on it and they buy from you, and the person that happens to stumble on your product. So maybe I wasn't looking for earrings. I stumble across your jewelry. I saw the earrings and I say, wow, I don't need earrings, but I want these so bad. They're so beautiful. And I go ahead and buy. So you want to make sure that your photo is very, very compelling. That when someone's looking at it, they're like, wow, this is beautiful. If it's not, the person's not going to buy. It doesn't matter how amazing your product is. If you have a bad photo, the photo will prevent you from making the sale. I can't tell you how many times people say, I don't understand why I'm not making a sale. And then when I go to their shop, the photos are not the best looking. So you have to be very critical with yourself. And you have to, whenever you take a photo, you have to say to yourself, if this is the best photo I could take. If you're not able to take the photo, right, or you're not good at taking photos, there's different things you could do. You could take it outside in natural light. So that way you get better exposure of your photo and it looks nicer. You could hire someone to do your photography, or you could take a class to learn more about photography. The thing about Etsy or any business that you start, you have to wear a lot of hats, right? So you have to learn not only how to create your product and promote it, now you have to learn about SEO and you have to learn about product photography and you have to learn about crafting a listing description and branding. And there's so many things you have to learn that it can become overwhelming. However, um, by simply learning these things and going on either tutorials or hiring somebody else will make that difference. And sometimes you might have to invest in someone else to do your photos, especially if you're struggling with them. That way you could get that beautiful image. But it's very important, keep in mind that when somebody's shopping online, they can't physically grab the product or wear it or touch the texture. All they have to go by the product is the photo. So photos, the first impressions, is what's going to lead them to click on the actual listing. So you want to make sure that your photo is very, very compelling, beautiful, clear. They have a true understanding of what the product is about, and make sure that you don't put all this stuff in the background that will make it confusing to the buyer of what they're actually buying. So the first one is having good photos, right? The second is SEO. So as you might know now or learning about it as a new Etsy seller, SEO stands for search engine optimization. And SEO is basically by doing certain steps on your Etsy listing or on your page. And that's how the search engine like Etsy or Yahoo or Bing or Google, that's how they know what your page is about. And those factors include your tags or also known as your keywords. So two things about SEO that are very, very important to know. Or well, three things. One, don't just guess what your SEO should be. So if you're selling pink earrings, don't just write pink earrings, woman pink earrings. Don't write it like that. make sure that you take the time, the diligent time, to research those keywords, and make sure that you only pick keywords that describe your item, and you don't want to be too broad also. So that's the second one. And the third one is target audience. So first is researching. Second is making sure that the keywords are not too broad. What I mean by that, instead of you saying earrings, or let's say gift for her, right? That's very broad, because a gift for her could be pretty much anything. It could be earrings, it could be a camera, it could be a pillow, it could be a shirt, it could be a dress. So when you use words like that, gift for her, you're targeting everybody and anybody. And this is why a lot of people say, I don't understand why I don't have sales. I have a lot of clicks, my impressions are very high, but I still don't make sales. That's because a lot of people are viewing your items. However, you're showing it to the wrong people. You're showing the listing to people that are actually not interested in your product. So you have to do target audience. And how you do target audience is being very detailed on what you're selling. So if you have pink earrings, maybe you would say women pink earrings, or you would say pink earrings, or you would say fringe pink earrings if they have fringe, whatever it is. But you have to be very specific at what you're selling. I recommend using XRank. And XRank is a free tool. You go in there and you could do keyword search. So you will start with describing your items. You will put pink earrings, and then it's gonna spit out a whole bunch of keywords. And from there, you will have to look up keywords that are not too competitive. They're going to say medium, and they're going to say low competition. Those are the ones you want to stick with. The ones that are in red, that are high in competition, you want to stay away from those because those are too broad. When you use keywords that are very broad, or keywords that are oversaturated, meaning that a lot of people are using those same keywords, two things happen. Organically, you're not going to be found because you're going to be stuck somewhere on the back end of the search results. Also, if you were to run an Etsy ad or Google AdWords, your cost per bid is going to be very high because there's a lot of people competing for that same keyword. Now, even if you were to change, because on Etsy, you could change your cost per click. Like, let's say you want to change your click, for every click that, somebody clicks, you pay 10 cents per click, right? Even if you did that and you changed it from, let's say the regular price is like $4 a click, and now you change it to like 10 cents per click. Even if you change the cost per click, what's going to happen is your ad is going to be at the end of Etsy search results also, because you're competing with other people that are willing to pay more per click, but because you're only willing to pay 10 cents per click, they're going to push you to the back end. So therefore, it's going to be really hard for you to be found, unless a lot of people favor your store. There's other factors that play in, right? How old your listing has been. Do other people favor your shop a lot? Do other people favor that particular item? Those could take control over where your listing lands. So the more engagement you have in that listing, the more you will be pushed to the front. However, if it's fairly a new listing and you really don't have no engagement, and you're using keywords that are too broad or too oversaturated, you're not going to target the right people. And on top of that, you're not going to be found organically. And even if you pay, it's going to be hard for you to rank for those keywords on the first page of search results, which is where you ultimately want to be. So this is why it's so important to do your SEO properly, to take the time to do the diligent work. And if you don't have the time, or if you don't know how to learn it, maybe hiring someone else like an SEO expert to do your SEO for you, kind of give you a list of different keywords based on what you sell, that you could just create listing descriptions and pull the keywords from there. But you definitely have to work on SEO. The SEO is how the person found your listing. The photo is what made them click on it, basically. So keep that in mind. Number 3 is target audience, which is kind of like what we talked about a few minutes ago. And a lot of people don't target their audience. They just target anybody and everybody. So therefore, like I said earlier, when you show your ad to everyone out there, yeah, you'll get more impressions and your numbers will look better, right? The listing views will be high, and views will be high, impressions will be high. However, your sales will remain the same. You're not going to get the sales that you want because you're targeting the wrong people. On top of that, the bad thing about not targeting your audience is that you're spending, especially if you're spending money on ads, you're showing your ads to the wrong people. People are clicking just to click. So now you're even spending more money. It's not worth it. So it's worth for you to take the time and research your target audience, understand who's looking for your items. You could do this by signing up for Google Analytics. I have a video on that. Also looking at your Etsy stats, understanding them, and targeting people that are looking for your products. And understanding that when you do SEO, you're using keywords that describe your item. You're not using, like, let's say um you sell like paintings, right? Abstract painting. You wouldn't put home decor. That's too broad because now you're targeting everybody that looks up home decor. So therefore, you're not targeting people that are actually your target audience that are looking for abstract wall art. So that's how you got to think about it. You can't use those keywords that are too broad because that's when the whole issue becomes that you're not targeting your audience. So reason number 4 is you're not paying attention to key performance indicators. So key performance indicators is basically checking your metrics. It's so important that I always tell the customer, I always tell my clients, freelancers, and anybody that asks me to do it once a month, to check your metrics once a month. If you're not able to check it once a month for whatever reason, do it at least quarterly. Don't pass after 3 months. So checking your metrics is basically going in the back end of Etsy on your dashboard. They give you all the resources. They give you demographic information. They give you where your traffic is coming from, if it's mobile, if it's a tablet, if it's social media, if it's referral traffic, if it's coming from a website. You need to pay attention to that. And if you find, let's say that you use all social media, right? You're using Facebook, you're using Pinterest, you're using Twitter, you're using Instagram, but you see that the two platforms, let's say Pinterest and Facebook, are the ones driving you like 80% of the traffic, then you need to focus on those two. And it's okay to post on the other ones, but you need to really market your products on those two because whatever you're doing there is working. So you gotta pay attention to what's working, what's not working. You know, if I was to talk to you personally and I asked you what is your top performing item and you don't know that, that's a no-no. Like you're supposed to know what are your top sales, what are the things that you sell the most, what are the things that you have not sold, which listings are you struggling with the most, which listing gets the less views, because then if you know that this listing is not working, you have to rechange the SEO. Maybe it's the photo, maybe you got to come up with a different strategy to sell that, or maybe you just got to remove the item because it's not making you any sale, but you're wasting money every 4 months when it renews again automatically. So paying attention to key performance indicators is really important because the more you know about your shop, the more successful you will be because you know everything, the ins and out. Another great thing about paying attention to key performance indicators is that if you see a particular item that you're selling a lot, what you could do is you could do a robust line. I've done that with my wedding shop. So I had this rehearsal sign that I would sell so much. But I had other rehearsals, but that was the one that I sold the most. So what I did was I created a product line. I added 80 additional items to that product line. So I added like favor signs, table numbers, um, sitting chart. I added like the whole machine. And my sales went from like, I was getting about, I think I was making about 600 a month for that one particular item, and it went up. I remember the first month that I did that, just adding a few items, it went up to like 1,300, like almost double. Well, no, it did double. It doubled, and it went over like $120 more or something like that. But that's what happens when you pay attention to stuff. So what I've noticed was that the set of clip art that I was selling, on that design, on that particular design, was very popular. And a lot of people weren't doing that design. It was like a blue set of flowers. and it wasn't very popular, I guess, on Etsy. Not too many people did blue designs. So that, I mean, it just took my sales to a whole nother level, just paying attention to what was my top performing item and creating additional items around that particular item. So this is just for me paying attention on what's working and what's not working. So it's very important to do that. And also, it's going to help you invest time in the things that are working, and the things that are not working, then you just got to let it go sometimes. You might have to just deactivate that listing or change it to something else if it's not working, or change the photos. Maybe it's the photo, or maybe you slacked on something else in that actual listing. So it's very, very important. Number 5, reason number 5, you're not treating it as a real business. So a lot of people have this misconception that because they didn't have to pay 50,000 to start up a business on Etsy, it's very low cost to start with Etsy. I mean, anybody could start an Etsy shop with under $100 or even less than that. uh, they don't treat it as a real business. They don't put a logo, they don't put a photo of their face, they don't, fill out their about me section, they don't, the banner, it doesn't look good, or it's very, doesn't look professional. You have to treat it as a real business. If you want to take Etsy to the next level, quit your day job, or maybe you quit your day job, or maybe you work, you stay at home with your kids, and that's your job, obviously. I have a newborn, so I can't even imagine having more than one. But um, that's a full time job as on its own. But if you want to make this as a full time business and be really successful with it, you have to treat it as a real business. You have to put in the time. You have to work weekends. You have to work every night if you do have a full time job like I do. You have to, go in there and check what's working, what's not working. You have to create a calendar of things that you're going to add every month, and create goals, and you have to do it, because if you don't, it would never grow the way that you want it to grow. So these are things that you have to consider when creating an Etsy business, or if you have one right now and you want to make it a full-time business, you want to be really successful with it, you want to make 2,000 a month or 5,000, whatever success means to you, right? You have to treat it as a real business. You can't think, oh, well, it's not real because it's online and I don't actually have a boutique. That's if you have that mentality, you have to change your perspective on it, because it is a real business. So start treating it as a real business and take the time. Don't overlook small details, and take the time to do everything you're supposed to be doing. Now, reason number 6 is you're not spending money. I hear this a lot. I hear this on my Facebook group. A lot of people say, well, I don't have the money, or I'm tired of spending money, or, you know, um, I wish I didn't have to spend money. Unfortunately, anyone that has owned a business before, everybody will tell you that as a business owner, you are going to have to spend money to make money. It's just a game. It's just part of it. You have to create a logo, so you're going to spend money, unless you make it yourself. You're going to have to pay someone to do a banner, unless you make it yourself. You're going to have to pay someone to do your SEO, unless you do it. You're going to have to buy supply for whatever handmade items you're making, right? So this is just the game of it. The nice thing about it, if you change your perspective from why, right, and you change it, the nice thing is you could claim this on your taxes. So as an Etsy seller, whatever you spend monthly, you could claim your business office, or if you have a room in your home that's your office, you could. I mean, I write out everything. I write out any expenses I have, any meetings I have with other freelancers, with clients of mine. Anytime I go to meetup.com to meet like minded individuals that have Etsy, I also use that as an expense. So, yeah, I might spend money, by the end of the year, I write it off in my taxes. So, it's not a big deal. You got to change your perspective. A lot of times, also, the reason why a lot of people spend money and they feel like overwhelmed by it is because they're not targeting their audience correctly, and they're not doing their SEO correctly. So they spend money on advertising on Etsy, or let's say Facebook ads, but they don't do it properly. So they'll end up spending, let's say, I don't know, $300 for the month, but they didn't make any sales from it. But that's just the lack of not knowing, right? That comes with time. You gotta give yourself some patience, and you gotta learn this stuff. The more you do it, the more you spend money on ads, the more you fix your SEO correctly, and the more you target your audience, the higher, you'll start making money and you start profiting. However, if you're not investing the time to learn SEO and investing the time to learn how to properly run an ad and how to properly target your audience, it's almost like wasted money. It really is, because now you're just targeting to anybody, and if that person is not interested in your product, they're not going to buy, even if they happen to click on it. So therefore, I think that's why a lot of people have that misconception. A lot of times also with the spending money, I know a lot of people on my Facebook group or other groups that I belong to, they'll run an ad for like a week, they don't make money, so they get really anxious and they stop running the ad. Well, I had it for a week and I haven't made money. This doesn't work. You gotta give it more than that. I remember like my first month, I remember I spent more on ads than I made. And then the second month, I just blew up. Like I think I spent like 300, but I made like 1,400. But the first month of Etsy, when I first did my ads, I don't remember because this was about 2 years ago, but I remember I paid like $80 on ads because I had started like in the middle of the month. I didn't run it the full month. And I remember like I made like, I think it was like $15 or something. I was like, really? But what I learned with that lesson was that I had to tweak a lot of stuff. And then the following month, it was just like, it was so worth it. And ever since then, I've never stopped my ads. I think the only store that I don't have currently ads is on this one. This one's pretty new. And the reason why I didn't put any on this one is because I really want to build it up first, and then I'm gonna start running my ads. But it's the only store out of my 6 stores that I don't currently run ads, and I've never stopped my ads. The only time they stopped running was when I was having my baby on April. For like 3 days, I put my store in vacation mode, and then I freaked out and I turned it back on. I had put my store in vacation, so um, but they do work. It's just you have to learn how to market yourself correctly, and you have to learn how to target your audience correctly. Once you do that, especially if you have good products and you have beautiful images, the money will come in, but you just have to have patience with it. So now another reason why you're not making money is reason number 7 is the curation of your shop. So what I mean by that is like your shop doesn't look like it's completed. You don't have a tagline. Um, your policy information is not there. You never filled out the About Me section. You never added your social media links to your I'm sorry, your social media links, your website link, or anything additional that you have for that account. You never linked it to your Etsy shop. um, the curation of your shop, like you have different colors, you're all over the place. um, your pictures are not crop complementary. You don't have a photo of yourself. These are important things that you have to keep in mind. If what I always tell people, go to your favorite store, like go to Macy's.com or go to Lord and Taylor or whatever your store is. And if you look at these stores, these prominent stores, you will see that they have a cohesive look, that everything matches, that they have a logo, that everything looks complete. And this is how you want it to be. You want to, when somebody shops your store, you have your logo, and everything looks complete, and the photos are very similar. And it's so important, because if you don't have that, you see how these photos have no distraction in the background, they're very plain. That's what works a lot of times. um, Having all this extra stuff in the background sometimes creates a distraction, especially with people nowadays online. They have like a short spam, and you want to make sure that it's clear that when they look at it, they know exactly what they're buying. But just go to your favorite shops, look around, and you will see how they put their stuff, and it really, really would give you an idea of how you need to showcase your store. But you definitely need to work on that. And if you're not able to work on it, you could always tweak it and ask somebody. You could ask me, or you could ask somebody in a Facebook group or someone you know and be like, does this look cohesive to you? Does it look like it all belongs in the same shop? Does it look like it's all the same colors? Like, have other people, give you constructive criticism. You need that. You need it. You definitely need it, especially in the beginning, because in 6 months from now, you're gonna go back to your store and you're gonna be like, whoa, I need to change this. Because you're gonna learn so much that the more you have your store, the longer you have your store, the better you get at it. So the curation of your shop will get better and better and better. So just give yourself some time. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just work on it, learn about it, look at other stores, look at those prominent stores on Etsy and kind of see what they're doing and kind of apply that to your store. I'm not saying to copy them, I'm just saying use it as an inspiration. So, reason number 8, it kind of ties in with the cohesiveness or the curation of your store. You don't have a logo, you don't have a banner. These are very, very important because a logo, it builds that credibility. It also builds your branding, that's reason number 9. But the logo is gonna set you apart from all the other stores. There's so many stores on Etsy right now. There's so many people that build stores and they give up and they don't have successful stores, and it's because they didn't take the time to do these little things that make a difference. You want to stand out from the rest of the competition. So therefore, you want to have a very beautiful banner that has your social media links, has your hours of operation if you want to put that in there. If you look at the most prominent shops on Etsy, they have beautiful banners, and you have to definitely work on having one like that. Um, Reason number 9 is cohesive and branding. So, cohesive is, does your shop have a cohesive look? If somebody looked at this logo and looked at this logo, does it look like it comes from the same shop? And that's having a cohesive brand, that the items look like they all come from the same store. Do you have a banner? Does it play in the colors? Like, all my colors are pretty much the same. Um, so you kind of have to do that. You have to play with a color, stick with that color, and create that branding stamp on it. So if I go to my Facebook page for this business here, it should have the same logo. When I go to Instagram, it have the same logo. When I go to Pinterest, it should have the same logo. That's creating a cohesive brand that when people see it, they know, oh, that's from Nancy Badillo. So that's what you need to do. You have to make sure that you take the time to create a cohesive line and also add that logo so you can separate yourself from everyone else that want to have a store and be successful, but they're not willing to put the time and energy behind it. So reason number 10 is you're not hiring help. So a lot of people, I hear that say, I can't do it, it's so much. This is how it is, I mean, when you become an entrepreneur, it's really going to test out your character. It's really going to test out if you are made up to be an entrepreneur. I have been an entrepreneur now for 9 years. My first 4 years, I didn't make any money. I actually spent more money than I made. And I actually didn't claim it on my taxes because back then, when I tried to claim it, entrepreneur wasn't like as popular now. Like now, everybody's an entrepreneur. Everybody's an CEO. Everybody puts on Instagram how much money they make and so on. Back then, entrepreneur wasn't that popular. So I remember when trying to do my taxes, I told my local CPA that, hey, this is how much I spent on this course and on this business. And he's like, did you make any revenue? And I was like, no. He got, then you can't claim this. And I remember, like, that's so unfair that I spent all this money and I can't claim it. But what I learned throughout the course now is that he was wrong. um, that's why I always recommend people to sign up for QuickBooks. I have a link on this video below in the text box. And QuickBooks is a great tool because you can write all your expenses in there. Even if you make $20 a month, but you spend $200, right? on advertising, it's still, you should still claim that. It's something that I learned the hard way, probably a lot of money that I lost, but you definitely want to hire someone if you have the money for it, whether it's a virtual assistant for you that could do your social media for you, whether it's someone that will do your photography for you, whether it's someone that will do your banner for you, or maybe your SEO. But if you need the help, hire. Don't be cheap about it. Don't say, well, I don't know why I got to do this. Sometimes you do need to do that. I was listening to a motivational speaker today, and she was saying that for her business, one thing that she just started doing was hiring somebody else to give her feedback on her business. And I thought that was very big of her because, like she said, I've been used to, she's a millionaire. She's used to running her own business. She used to being like the one person in charge. And now she had to kind of release some control of her business, give that control to someone else, and that person's telling them everything they're doing wrong. And I know it's really hard to hear, but she said due to that, it's taking her business to a whole different level. She's making more money than ever. So sometimes you do need to hire someone, whether it's to give you feedback, whether it's to help you, whether it's to give you more free time so you could be more creative and create more products. And they do like Facebook for you, social media. They answer customer service for you. They answer all your emails. Maybe they update your blog. But sometimes you need that. You need to hire someone. It is a lot of things that we have to do, especially if you are a one woman or one man shop like I am. So you're like, you got this, you got that, you got so many things to do that by the time you get done, your brain, you're tired, you're not trying to be creative, you're not trying to add more things to the store. So sometimes to take the workload, you have to hire someone. Now, this one, number 11, is a very important thing to know. As an entrepreneur or opening your own Etsy shop or any business, especially if you do a business online, you have to learn that this is going to be your life is going to be always learning something new. I think that once you grasp that perspective and understand that you're constantly going to have to learn something, you won't complain about it so much. So I see a lot of people that say, "Oh, I just figured out SEO and now they changed it again." Or I just figured out Instagram and they changed the algorithm. It's almost like they want to blame somebody. But what you got to remember is that as we evolve and as new technology comes in play, and as people do learn, how the algorithm works, or they implement new changes, they add the my stories or Facebook Live and they implement all this stuff, the algorithm does have to change for those new implements. As long as you realize that there always going to be a change to something and you're never going to be able to crack the code, because as soon as you do, it's going to change again. Once you realize that and you change your perspective and you say, I'm not going to be negative no more, it is what it is, I can't change it, I just got to adapt to it. I think once you realize that, you'll have a better perspective. I think in life it's all about perspective. Instead of saying I can't, say I will, find the solution. It's learning that lifelong you're gonna learn. It's always gonna be learning, no matter how old you are, young, old. A lot of people say, well, I didn't grow up with computers, all these young kids know about computers. That doesn't mean anything. I know people that are older than me and they didn't grow up with computers and they're better than me. And I didn't grow up with a computer either because I grew up very poor. um, and I didn't have any computers, and I grew up in the era that we didn't have cell phones, and we had beepers, and I didn't even have one of those. But I had to teach myself. I had to adapt, right? I had to teach myself a lot of the stuff that I know now, like Photoshop and Etsy and SEO, are things that I taught myself. I got into the digital marketing space in 2008, a little bit after 2009, around there, because I had lost my home and I Googled how to make money online. I was interested on making money online, and I started learning about it and I got fascinated with it. And I couldn't believe that there were people making money, from home, from a computer. And that's how I got into it. And I had to learn all this stuff. I had to, SEO was like Chinese to me, and I had to adapt, and I had to, learn, or be left behind, basically. I had to learn all the new systems and learn what our algorithm is and why it's changed constantly, and keep up with it, right? Keep up with updates and read this and read that. And if I didn't do that, then I would be left behind. So if you want to make this as a career, and you want to make having an Etsy shop, and maybe in the future having multiple Etsy shops, or maybe having an Amazon, or becoming a speaker about Etsy, or whatever the role of Etsy will take you, right? Because you never know. You want to make sure that you get that in your mind, the perspective that this is gonna be lifelong learning. Like, it's not gonna be like, you learn it for a year and then you don't have to learn nothing else. If anybody tells you that, it's a lie. You're always gonna have to learn. So the sooner you do that, the sooner you realize that, the easier it will get, and the less excuses you will make. Reason number 12 why you're not making money is, I put era, and what I mean by that is, this is the time, right? The era time that there's no excuses. Like, if you were to, let's say you had to put a toilet at your house, right? You didn't know how to. Guess what? You could go to Google and put how to install a toilet, and you get a video that shows you step by step. So when people out there are saying, well, SEO is hard, or I don't understand, social media, and I don't get why we got to do this and why we got to do that. Instead of complaining, stop complaining. This is the time that is so easy for anybody out there to start their own business and be their own boss, if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to learn. Everything in the beginning is going to be hard because you're not used to doing SEO. You're not used to having an e-commerce store. You're not used to learning the Etsy lingo or the lingo for online marketing, right? So these are things that you have to learn. But the more you learn, the easier they become, right? So we learn by doing. That's just the bottom line. If you don't do it, you don't practice, you're not gonna learn, and then you're gonna blame everyone else for it, right? You're gonna blame the algorithm, you're gonna blame the changes that Xe did, you're gonna blame that this person gave you the wrong information, or that person told you something else. You're gonna blame everyone. But if you take the time to learn and look up videos like the ones that I make, or go to Etsy, Seller's Handbook, they have great articles there, or go to Facebook groups and ask questions. There are other people that are willing to help. So make sure that don't use any excuses from here on, and think about it. This is not 1920 or 1980, that there wasn't, a search engine that you could type in pretty much anything. There weren't resources and books and summits and conferences and etc., right? This is the time that is the easiest to find information. So you need to really, really think about that and stop making excuses. Reason number 13. This kind of ties in with the whole era thing. You're not paying your dues, right? And what I mean by that is, a lot of people, they start a store in January, and in March they want to quit. Oh, I did it for 2 months. This ain't working. X doesn't work. Well, before you blame your store or Etsy, you gotta give it time. You gotta pay your dues. I mean, I would say, give it like, I would say, give it like a year, maybe two, if you have the patience, and you gotta pay your dues. You're gonna fail and try again. You're gonna fail and try again. I mean, I know I failed, and I tried this and I failed that. I did this blog and I failed that. I did this strategy from this blogger. It didn't work for me. I did that. I did this affiliate marketing. Really didn't understand this, so obviously it failed. I tried that, but I didn't give it 100%, so it failed. I tried this. Oh, finally, I made a little bit of money, but not enough to quit my job. So I did this and failed again and failed again, and had a little bit of success, fail, 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 had a little bit of success, fail, fail, fail. So it's just one of those things that You have to pay your dues, and understand that you are going to have a lot of failures. Now, keep in mind also, don't compare yourself to other people. Run your own race. Don't say, oh, it's so unfair. That store makes a lot of money. Or that store doesn't even use the tax properly and they get more views and more sales than I do. I don't understand. A lot of times they have a large following. A lot of times they're running a lot of Facebook ads. You don't know what they're doing from their back end. Another thing you got to keep in mind is that maybe that's their fifth Etsy shop, right? They failed at the first one, the second, the third, and that's the one that actually got some revenue going. So stop comparing when you don't know their real story, right? You don't know all the struggles they had to go through just to get where they're at. So you cannot compare yourself and you cannot say, well, these stores are doing it, how come I'm not doing it? Or these stores are doing it, how come they don't help other people? Well, no, probably no one helped them either. So a lot of people had the mentality, well, no one helped me, why would I help people, right? I have the mentality that I try to help people, right? So a lot of people tell me, well, why are you doing these videos? You're telling people exactly what you do. Aren't you scared that people are going to copy you, or they're not going to, they're going to go ahead and use your strategy? I'm like, yeah, no. I think about it this way. One, I wish I would have found a video or like a YouTube channel just for Etsy that had everything about Etsy when I first started, because I made a lot of mistakes. And two, I feel that a lot of people, um, you could give them a blueprint of what to do and they still don't want to do it. I think until they hit rock bottom, right? For a lot of people, until they hit rock bottom, that's when they're willing to take a suggestion or an idea from someone else that has been in their shoes and is telling them, hey, this is what I did. So for me, I don't feel like people are copying me, or I mean, put it into perspective. I just had the video before this one. Um, for some reason, it cut off, and I had a decent amount of views for the video being up only like 2 days. I had 194 views, and out of 194 views, only one person told me, "Hey, did you know your video got cut off?" It kind of it kind of sucked, right? To know that out of 194 person, did they really watch the whole video? So it makes me think people are not really paying attention to these videos that have so much information. So a lot of people out there, they want the help, right? They want the help. They want someone to help them. But then when I am trying to help them, like myself now, right? Um, are they really watching, right? Because I would have thought that out of 194 people, more people would have said, hey, your video got cut off. So that shows me that either I need to improve the quality of my videos, right? Or people are watching them, getting bored or leaving, or they're not interested in it. I'm not really sure. I'm going to have to look at the metrics, but what I do want to say is pay your dues. And if there's people out there helping you to avoid making as many mistakes like I did in my first year of Etsy, make sure that you learn from them. Sometimes, even if it's one thing that you take from them, it's really important that you take the time to invest in yourself and listen to videos or podcasts or read books about Etsy, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be my channel, but it's important to invest in yourself. Number 14 is market research. So a lot of people, when they open an Etsy shop, they take, they say, I'm going to do an Etsy shop at jewelry, but they never did market research. So they don't know if the market's new, if the market's oversaturated, if it's growing, if it's not growing, if it's dying. So if you already opened the Etsy shop, it's a little bit too late. But in the future, if you do open a new Etsy shop, the first suggestion is to do your market research. Find out if whatever you want to sell, if there's a market for it, if if it's growing, if it's gonna take you 80 hours a week to get one sale, or is it gonna be one of those new opportunities that you create an item, you create like 80 items, and you're selling, like in a year you sold like 20,000 products, right? So that's what the difference between someone that doesn't do market research and now they're on an oversaturated market and they can't even make sales versus someone that did their research and I have this lady that I freelance for her and I helped her with her SEO, and she hired me to do like SEO and kind of do her listing description and so on. And she did I won't reveal her store out of her respect, but she did a t-shirt line. So at first I was like, oh, she's doing a t-shirt line. It's so oversaturated. So many people. But we found, between me and her, we found a niche for t-shirts that not too many people are doing. And she literally has 36 items or 36 shirts on her store, and she's making a killing. Like, she's made a lot of money her first year. Well, her first year on Etsy will be November of this year, and she's close to making 28,000. Now that's very impressive for her doing Etsy. The first 7 months she did Etsy by herself with no help, and she was kind of struggling. She was making sales, but she was struggling. But as soon as we tweaked it and we started using the proper keywords for her store, her sales started just coming in. And we took out shirts that weren't making any sales, that were too competitive in the wedding niche, and we just switched it around. And it just made a big difference. But that's what I'm talking about, market research. If you are able to find that those couple products that are in demand but not too many people are doing, you can make a lot of money. But you got to be willing to do the market research first, or pay someone to do it for you. Number 15, of why you're not making sale is social media strategy. So having a social media strategy is very, very important. So what I mean by that is creating a calendar the prior month. So if you're in November, creating the calendar for December on November. So knowing, okay, December 21st is Christmas Day, December 21st is National Love Day. I'm just making this up. National Love Day. December 15th is National Friendship Day, and using those trends to drive more traffic. So when you go to social media saying, hey guys, happy hashtag National Friend Day, visit my shop to view items that you could give away to your friends. And then you'll get a little boost because now you're using trending topics or things that are trending, and therefore you drive a little bit more traffic. Also, creating a social strategy is not just selling, selling, selling. It's also promoting who you are, who your brand is. So maybe having Monday motivation, and like you getting up early in the morning working out, or you getting up and doing your work and someone took a picture of you in your workplace. Tuesday tip, maybe you create wreaths, right? So you show people how you create a wreath, right? And that's your video. You're not selling yourself, but then you put a link and say, if you guys want to check out the wreaths that I currently sell, here's the link. But you have a video on how you did it, which is really cool. Wednesday wisdom, right? So you put something like a tip. I don't know, Throwback Thursday, and then you do Follow Friday, and that's where you put all your links, and you tell people, hey guys, check out my Twitter or my Instagram channel. Make sure you leave your link below and I'll follow back, blah, 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 blah. But making it exciting, engaging, changing it up. You don't want to always promote, 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 promote. Think about it from your perspective. When was the last time you followed someone that all they did was promote you 24/7? It's annoying. So don't promote all the time, and create a content or social media strategy. Reason number 16, you're not willing to improve in anything. You're struggling, right? You're not willing to take classes. You're not willing to learn. You're not willing to invest. So keep in mind that in order to see a return, you have to invest. You're struggling with SEO and you don't want to pay somebody. Guess what? You're going to have to learn how to do SEO. Because if you don't learn and you don't, invest the time to learn, and you don't want to pay no one else, you're never going to get sales. You're never going to improve your store, the sales in your store. You're never going to grow as big as you want. So definitely you have to be able to take classes to improve anything you're struggling. You have to be very honest with yourself, and you have to say, God, like, I struggle with photography, or I struggle with SEO, or I struggle, like for me, it's writing and speaking. I struggle with paying attention to details. I struggle with whatever it is. You have to be very critical with yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to go out there. If you don't have the money, the nice thing about now is that you could go to YouTube and find free videos like this one that helps you and gives you tips and facts and resources that maybe you didn't know about. There's groups out there that you can meet up. There's a company called meetup.com where you could find like-minded individuals and meet up and talk about ideas and bounce and brainstorming, and it's really cool. So there's enough resources nowadays to help you grow. You just have to be willing to spend the time to research them and block some time to do that. So make sure that you invest in classes or any type of video tutorials that could help you. Number 17, maybe letting go. And what I mean by that is that the life of an entrepreneur is not for everyone. A lot of people want the life, right? Everybody want to have their own business. Everybody wants to work, be their own boss. Everybody wants to work from home. Unfortunately, not everyone's going to be successful at it. The people that are successful the most are people that are consistent, people that have a lot of work ethic. It's not so much the people that are talented or the people that are very smart. It's usually the people that are very consistent and they put a lot of time and energy in their business. Hustle beats talent. Like that quote is so true. If you really think about it, and you could be the most talented person, but if you don't put the time and energy that a business really requires, and you don't learn and you're not willing to sacrifice, you're not going to grow your business. So if you're giving it, if you feel like this is too much for you, maybe it's time to let it go. And I hate to say it that way, but I want to be real with people, and you might have to let it go. Reason number 19. Oh, number 18. You're not giving it enough time. So this kind of ties into what we talked about earlier, paying your dues. You can't start a business and 3 months down the line say, I have done everything. You have not done everything. A lot of times people say, I have done everything, I just don't understand. Can someone take a look at my shop? And then when I go look at, do a quick glance, they don't have a logo, they don't have a banner, they don't have the About Me section filled out. The photos are cropped, incorrectly. The photos are dark, or they have shadows, or you don't know what you're really buying. The listing description has like 4 sentences. They didn't use all 13 tags. Um, they're overlooking their grammar. I mean, it's just so many mistakes and little. Sometimes it's the little things. It's not. I understand SEO is a lot harder to learn, but sometimes it's like little things like a logo or like your listing description or even your photo, recognizing that your photo's blurry. Like you had to look at it when you uploaded it. So uh, give it enough time. Don't give it 3 months. Don't give it 6 months. I tell somebody, if you really want to make it as an entrepreneur, give it 2 years at least. I know it might seem like a long time, but in retrospective, in 2 years, you can learn so much. You're gonna go back and be like, wow, I really didn't know what I was doing. Or, I mean, that's exactly what I did. I was like, wow, I didn't understand e-commerce um, the way I did after having Etsy. Because then after that, I started my Amazon, and then I have Zazzle. So I have like a couple shops now, but I have 6 on Etsy and I have a couple on other platforms. But I got Shopify. But before that, I mean, I understood digital marketing because that's what I did. I did a lot of blogging. I did a lot of Facebook ads, affiliate marketing, but I really didn't own my own shop. So having my own shop like really taught me a lot more about the e-commerce platform that I really wasn't aware of before. So give it enough time. So reason number 19, accepting criticism and feedback. Um this was a hard one for me because I feel like when I do my reviews for people, I really try to be respectful because I understand that we take it personal when somebody gives you a review because it's your work. You put energy and you put time behind it, and you spend money, and maybe you even had to do it a couple times or something. So I truly understand that, because I've taken stuff personal before. However, You also have to be receptive of people. If you ask for help on a Facebook group or someone you specifically, right? And they tell you something, don't lash back at them. Like, well, I did that because of this. Like, really think, like, soak it in. Like, when they say that to you, like, think about it. Like, before you respond, think about it. Give it a day. Don't even respond the same day. Think about it and be like, huh, I wonder if they're right. Let me ask somebody else the same question. What do you think about this? They said this. What do you think? Do you think they're right? Like, get some perspective behind it, but don't just respond because you feel attacked or you feel like they being rude or anything. You are gonna meet the occasional troll out there, right? That they're haters and they'll, be rude and stuff like that. You're gonna meet occasional people like that. However, if you meet someone that is being very respectful and they're just letting you know how they feel and how they personally think that you should change this or the pricing is incorrect or your photos don't look the best, don't get offensive. Look at it, say thank you, and take the criticism. Sometimes that's the best way to learn stuff when other people point out the bad in you or point out a flaw. I mean, I know for me, which is something I still struggle with, is paying attention to details. And I remember when the first time someone told me that at my job, I was like, I pay attention. I don't know what they're talking about. Blah blah blah. Blah. I took it offensive, and I started talking about my past and how I grew very poor and how if you only knew all the hurdles I went through. And I took it very personal because for me, I felt like I was doing my job 100%. So when this person said that to me, I just felt attacked. And then as the time went by, right, and months later, I kind of like wish I could go back in time, right? Because then I realized like even if they didn't say it the way I wanted to receive it, right? Because not everyone's going to be very good at giving you criticism or feedback. They were right. Unfortunately, they were right. And now I'm thankful for that feedback, right? I'm thankful for it because it has really changed my perspective. And now I could go back and be like, wow, I really weren't that great with paying attention to detail. I thought I was, but then when I look back at different scenarios in my life, I'm like, wow, they were right. But I never noticed that about myself. No one ever told me. My boyfriend at the time, now he's my husband, he never told me that. No one else has ever really complained about any of my work or me not paying attention. So in my mind, I thought everything was fine, but I needed that. Sometimes you need that. So now what I have learned is that when someone gives me feedback, right? I usually say thank you. I say thank you. I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna really pay attention to that because I think you're onto something. But I take it and I don't get upset about it. So making sure that you could take criticism and feedback will help you grow your business. And the last reason, I'm sorry this video is a little long, is listing description. So you want to make sure that when you write a listing description, you write it is one is well written, two is informative about your product, three you divide it into sections so it could be easy to read or easy to skim. Four, that you're very precise of what you're selling, like the color, the size, the shape, shipping policy, return policy. You put like matching items, like backlinks to matching items. There's two reasons why you want to do this, or three reasons. One, you want to write a really good listing description because if someone is really interested in your product, they'll read it, and that will close out your sale. Two, if someone, God forbid, opened a case against your shop and they said, the seller Nancy never told me that, because you had in the listing description, Etsy will abide by you. So you won't get no strike against your shop. And three, I'm not saying this happens a lot because for me, I still get messaged all the time by my customers, but a lot of times it will avoid unnecessary messages. The more details you have, there are people out there that actually like reading and they pay attention to details. They'll go and read the whole listing description, so they won't, go and message you later. However, if you don't have enough information, you might get those people that either might not buy from you, or they'll message you, but then by the time you respond to them, let's say you didn't notice their message or you didn't respond right away, maybe they went somewhere else and bought from someone else. So it does help. And the most important one, I think, for me is more about um, making sure that I'm clear and transparent in what I sell. That way, there's no confusion, especially with digital prints, because a lot of people don't buy. You do the work, you email them the file, and then they get upset because they feel like, oh, I thought you were going to ship it. Well, no, it's in the listing description. So it's just an easier way to cover yourself. So these are my top 20 reasons of why you're not getting sales. And if you guys have any additional reasons that you feel that I didn't cover, leave a comment below. Um, I'm trying to create a sense of community that we all come together and help each other out. So I hope that this video um, came in handy. Please leave me a comment below and let me know if it was, or what type of videos you guys want to watch. And if this was your first time in my YouTube channel and you want to watch videos like this, make sure that you subscribe and make sure that you hit the notification button. That way, every time I create a new video, you get the video alert that I created a new video. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video all over again. And have yourself a wonderful day. Until the next video. Have a good one.